Poor Leroy overlanding it.
He's gonna pop a blood vessel over there in Ohio. This episode of the Offroad Podcast is sponsored by Colby Valve.
Offroad Podcast, episode 459. Offroad Toy Outfitters, Mayhem at the Mountain.
Tonight, Aaron can't get traction. Coy breaks out his arsenal, and Ben looks up.
Welcome to the Offroad Podcast, podcast about everything off-road. We cover the news, review products, and interview people in the off-road industry. Your hosts tonight are Aaron, Coy. My name is Ben. And tonight we are joined by Phil. Welcome to the show. So, Aaron, you got out wheeling?
I actually did take my truck out in the field and I did wheel it. I put it in 4-wheel drive a few times. My son helped me get the brakes finished up. We hired a guy to come to our property with this skid steer, and it's got this brush clearing attachment on the front. It's basically a giant grinder wheel with all these teeth on it.
Forestry mower.
Yeah, it is a forestry mower, and he's going to do some damage on our property. And so I was just kind of checking some stuff out and drove through a little bit of soupy area, but didn't have any problem. And then I decided to drive through the blackberry patch that I had the guy who I sold my LMTV to drive through with the LMTV. So that was kind of fun. And then today I drove through that same spot with our 4-wheel drive tractor and got it stuck. Thankfully, tractors have those buckets on them and you can use it to help push you out. Yeah. So besides that, I made a list not too long ago of things that I need to work on for the Nissan before the Moab trip. Stuff like dropping the front diff and find out why the air locker's not working, replacing a headlight, spooling up the new winch rope, adding washer fluid because it was empty last time I drove it. Just stuff like that. Oh, I got a mud flap I need to put on. I bought some, I don't know if you guys have seen them, but they're super thin. They're like paper thin cutting boards. You can buy them at IKEA or wherever, home goods stores.
You can roll them up and stuff.
Yeah, I use those
flaps.
I use those for mud flaps on my car, not my car, but my off-road truck. And I actually bought it for the trailer. It's like 11 by 18 is how big the sheet is, and it was a 2-pack, and I cut it in half for the trailer. So there's a spare one, which is the exact same size I need for my pickup truck to replace the one that got torn off. So yeah. And speaking of my off-road trailer,
hang on. Back to the cutting board. We're missing some stuff here. Is that the biggest 11 by 18 that you can get? Can we get these bigger?
Maybe. I don't know. You probably could. Sure. I didn't look for anything bigger though.
Years and years ago, before I had responsibilities and things, and I was just a newly married man, we used to drink various punches and juices and things, and then run down the hall of my house and use them as like a sled. And I was just thinking, like, it would be sweet if you have those quick attached and we could just pull them off your Nissan in Moab and just like sit down and ride down Hell's Gate or something, you know. Be an awesome video. The chances of someone getting hurt would be extremely high.
Yes.
And it would just be fun. Like, there's lots of smooth rocks that we could sled in Moab.
There is a video on YouTube of me sliding down the stairs of my house with a broken plastic sled, like one of my kids' sleds. The first house I bought when I lived in Tacoma had like a 12-12 pitch of stairs, maybe even steeper than that. And me and my Subaru friends were getting rowdy one night, and we decided to slide down the stairs with a sled. And I the sled slipped forward from out from underneath me, and then my tailbone hit like every front edge of the steps on the way down. Yeah, I had trouble sitting down for a long time. So I'm familiar with that, Coy.
So,
I'm very familiar.
I'm just saying.
There's also another video on the internet. There's another video on the internet of me up in Snoqualmie Pass, and also with my Subaru friends, and we made some bad decisions apparently. But
they were Subaru friends. I mean,
yeah, yes, yeah, we were young. We went up to go do some midnight sledding at the pull out where you can sled at Hyack or whatever it's called up there.
Is midnight sledding like code for some kind of
no? It's just sledding. No, it's just sledding.
Subaru guys do together.
No.
Me and all the Subaru guys go do some midnight sledding. So so
enjoying.
No, it's not powder. No. But we didn't have a sled. But for some reason, I had a Rubbermaid tote, like a pretty decent sized one, and you could fit in it if you scrunched up enough. And then two of us sat on one of the lids together and went down. Like he wrapped his legs around me, and we both went down the sled hill on the lid. And
this sounds. Are you sure it's not code? Like a guy's wrapping his legs around you. You're doing
they were totally facing each other.
Subaru guys, like I'm really picking up some vibes here.
We were really close, but we both blasted our tailbones hard on a jump on that one. That was another
blasted each other's tailbones. Okay.
Yes.
Ben.
No, I'm not done. I'm not done. I got to tell you, you cut me off. I was going to tell you about my off-road trailer.
I wish I hadn't at this point.
Look at that thing. It's all painted up. I need to do some touch-up paint in a few places because I painted it with a roller, a foam roller. And it's hard to get precise with a foam roller, but I got all 3 colors on there. I even took the wheels off and I painted up in the wheel wells. I painted all the jacks. I took the rack off and painted the whole rack and then put the rack back on. So I'm really excited. We're going camping in a week and a half, and I'm excited to take it out on its new maiden voyage.
It has a little bit of a like Land Rover Defender look with the color and stuff. Just at first glance when you pop it up right there.
Yeah.
I was kind of like, I don't know, something about that made me kind of have a.
I don't even know why I chose that gray for the top. Because it was green on the top, I'm pretty sure. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna paint it gray. That was 8 years ago, so who knows what I was thinking. That was shortly after I had Subaru friends, so I was making different life choices back then.
Your tailbone was probably blown out.
Yeah. Anything else? No, I haven't done anything else besides painting, driving traction. Oh, the whole thing where I said I couldn't get traction in today on the job site, I was driving a scissor lift again. Had nothing to do with Subarus. And I was working inside of a factory that like processes berries, and they've got these giant stainless steel trays, and they have to slather them with oil.
Were you in Norpac?
Where?
The Norpac?
No, no. They've got these trays that they have to slather with oil, and the oil got all over the ground, and the ground is painted concrete, and I was literally just spinning. The tires are just spinning on the scissor lift. I couldn't go anywhere. I'd turn the wheels and the thing would just slide sideways one way, slide sideways the other way. I've never had less traction in my life than on that scissor lift.
And it'd have to go.
Exactly. And what was even funnier was that when I finally did get traction, or I had my coworker pushing the scissor lift, the back tires, there was less friction for the back tires to just drag across the ground than it was for them to actually rotate. That's how little traction there was.
I would have been pushing that thing doing donuts.
I would have loved to, but it was in a very tight area with sensitive equipment, and I was already worried about blasting some equipment. So I blasted a lot of stuff in this episode. Yeah. Ben, what have you been up to? Apparently you're looking up at something. What's looking up?
Well,
Ben looks up.
well, I was looking up at my window when it got hit by a rock while I was driving my bus, but that's not much of anything. But
So
Friday,
off-roading was
Hang on.
coming to you.
off-roading was coming to me. The rocks were coming straight at me. Blew glass 3 seats back on my bus. Had glass in my beard. Had one piece land in my eye, like on my eyelash. Yeah, was a little freaky, but nobody
Would
got
you
don't
say
shave
that
your
there was
eyelashes
glass?
anymore.
Would you say there was glass from the windows to the walls of the bus?
Yes. Windows to the walls.
All right.
Yeah, but what the reason I was looking up is I'm sure you guys probably were too Friday. The Aurora Borealis, that was like the best picture I got on my phone, which was not much of anything.
But it's there.
It's there.
Yeah.
That was, I don't know, it was pretty cool. I sat outside with my son, geeked out watching it. I wish it would have been a whole lot better to the naked eye.
So
It was looking like clouds at night.
it was crazy because the phone makes it look 9 times better than just naked eye.
Oh.
You notice that?
9 times better. And part of it, from what I understand, is just kind of our location, light pollution, all that was a big chunk of it.
So I was kind of sad. A buddy of mine went over to East Oregon or Central Oregon just for it. And he's like, it's insane out here. And I was like, I kind of looked out the window and I was like, it's cloudy here, whatever. And my wife was working on call and she got called in. I was like, hey, on your way home, check, see if you can see the Aurora Borealis. Well, it wasn't actually cloudy there. Just the sheen of them made it look like clouds. It was totally clear in my house. So my wife gets home at like 3 a.m. I'm like, hey, did you see him? She's like, yeah, it's insane. And I was like, what? And I went outside and realized that I just thought it was overcast and it was actually awesome. It was like legit awesome at my house.
I had honestly forgot about it. And I went outside to the Forerunner because I was getting ready for my son's birthday party. And I had to grab something out of the Forerunner. And the neighbor kid's out in his yard. And he's like, oh, holy crap, look at all this. And he's like on the phone with his cousin. And I'm like, Brandon, are you okay? And he's like, dude, pull out your phone, take a picture of the sky. And so I did it. I was like, oh yeah, that is pretty cool. And so I went and woke my kids up. Well, my oldest, and we went and laid on the trampoline taking pictures and staring at the sky. It was a good bonding moment. And then we talked about doing it Saturday. And then I saw there wasn't really much of a show going on Saturday, so we didn't go.
Badland says it happened. He happened to be at Lake Tahoe Friday night, and it was pretty epic to see it that far south. And Montana Dirt Road says we had an amazing show over here. We had red, blue, green, and purple with lights strobing too. I think that's like a close encounter. Close Encounters of the Third Kind was probably happening over near Montana.
It sounds like a seizure.
Those were the colors we had too.
So were they strobing?
Not exactly strobing, but you'd have like 2 colors going at the same time. So I had like purple and blue kind of or purple and green, and it was kind of like wavy, kind of like you see like those cool pictures up north. And it's like, all right, that is like halfway checked on my list of things I want to do, but I want to go up to Alaska and see them.
It was really here. It was pretty much, they were just different shades of green. Unless you took a picture with your phone, then you could see other colors, but really a lot of different shades of green. And then everybody says how it's like dancing. It was like slow motion changing shapes. Like it was,
yeah.
I thought it was more fireworky than like slow motion video, but whatever.
Yeah. Badland says that he went out on a recovery Saturday for people that were trying to see them on Friday night. That makes me laugh so hard. People getting stuck out in the woods.
Yeah, there was tons of people, especially I heard about Wilkeson. People just parked on the Forest Service roads, like they were just heading out in groups, and we're like, even less reason to want to go out there right now. Other than that, you see the Forerunners in the shop. I just pulled it in today. The Camry got its battery replaced on Saturday. The hybrid battery had gone out. It took forever for them to come out and replace it because they were low on stock and techs. So the guy came out, replaced it Saturday. It took him like 45 minutes. And Camry's
That's
back.
it.
That's it.
What'd you do with the old
Man.
battery?
It's a warranted battery. So Green Bean, the company that did the battery originally, they have a lifetime warranty on their batteries. So I think I paid like $2,000 or $3,000, and they come out, they basically
2 or 3.
unbolt it, and well, it beats maybe it was only 1,000. I don't know. This was like 5-6 years ago, but it's got a lifetime warranty. So if a cell goes dead in the battery, instead of having to go buy a whole new battery, they just come out and do it, and it's
It doesn't have
and then they throw
replaceable
it down in the
cells.
ocean.
Huh?
That doesn't have replaceable cells. And Phil, I was gonna ask if you could you throw it in the ocean yourself? Like, is that an option?
Is there like a DIY recycle?
Yeah. Like, when you have a baby and the doctor's like, "You want to cut the umbilical cord?" And I'm always like, "Dude, you charge me like $50,000. You're doing all the work." But just be like, "Hey, man, can I throw it in the ocean?" Like,
they are rebuildable if you know what you're doing. I don't feel comfortable enough with what I know to replace the cells. And I paid for the warranty for it. Why not just have them do it? And
Absolutely. Yeah. You did the
they
right
take
thing.
it to a shop and they warranty it, and they rebuild them. And so I'm covered. It's lifetime. I don't know how long lifetime is, but the Camry's got 240,000 miles on it now. So, I mean, hey, if it keeps on trucking, I'm going to keep on using it. So now that the Camry's back up, the minivan's got no problems. This is going, and I'm getting the lift installed and getting all the last little boogers I need fixed.
Door panel put on.
I might leave it off just in case, because
are you going to take your rocker panel off before the trip just so it matches all your other pictures, or are you going to let it come off while you're on the trip and have it in the back?
Well, I've noticed that while I have it off, nothing breaks. So
Because you haven't driven it anywhere. It can't break if you're not driving it.
That's a good point.
I like it. The clip break on the rocker panel and it comes off, nothing breaks. Like, you've already, yeah.
And so
when is your, what are you, 2 weeks out, 3 weeks out from your?
I am. I'm about.
While he's looking at his calendar, I wanted to say that the lighting in his garage isn't very bright, and I'm not saying that as a slam. What I'm pointing out though is that it makes his 4Runner look white, like pure white, and it actually looks really. If that rocker panel was on there, or if the front one was missing to match it,
I would
one way or the
definitely
other,
take that
the
picture and use it in your Facebook for sale ad. And then try
black and white. The black and white looks cool.
Everything else looks dirty enough that your 4Runner looks white.
Yeah. Actually, I've got LED strip light in my double truss thing I've got going across the garage, for that way I can have the projector going but still have light in the shop. And then so I figured I'll just leave that on so I can walk around the shop when I don't need all the lights on.
Yeah. You could just turn the rock lights on your truck.
I could, yeah.
Ambient pink lighting.
Ambient pink lighting. Could do that. Nobody would.
I'm excited. I'm excited you got enough projects done that you get to pay some attention to your 4Runner.
Yeah, I've been itching to do it, and
I bet you with all the things you have to do, I bet you get all those things done and get it painted. Strip it down now and get it painted before your trip. I bet you can accomplish that.
I probably could. I don't know if I want to go that far, though. I don't want to test my patience and rush the paint job.
Yeah,
because all I'd have to do is scuff it up and paint over it after I wash it. But bad things happen when I rush.
What about boy?
I really didn't get up to much this weekend, guys. I watched the Northern Lights there for a little bit, the Aurora Borealis or whatever we're calling it. Then my son, I've been waiting for this day for a while. He got invited to a Nerf War birthday party.
Okay.
and
Oh boy.
I had a few Nerf guns as a young man, teenager, and significant portion of my adult life.
Yeah. How many have you modified?
Only like half of them.
Okay.
And I just got some that had been given to like a nephew at some point. I just got one back, and it's the most bad to the bone air pump up Gatling one. Needs some work, so I got to take it apart. We're gonna try and fix it up, but so we couldn't take that one. But so I loaded him up with all the best Nerf that we had. He got to go have a good time.
Were they darts or were they the balls?
He brought both. The rivals, the ball shooting ones are newer. And they do shoot like super far and stuff, but they don't really hurt.
Yeah,
So even a slower shooting dart one will hurt more, especially some of my darts are so old, the rubber's like hard.
I don't know. I so when we were doing Scout Trail Life, we had a Nerf War Night, and I had one of the little rival pistols where it shoots like one at a time. Like it's not rotary, it's you get like 4 shots out of it. And I shot a little kid in the chest and made him cry really bad. Felt bad.
Are you sure, like, just the sight of you, he came around the corner and saw you and just wasn't scared?
Oh no. He saw me and like threw his hands up, but I'd already shot him and I got him, nailed him right in the chest, and he cried really bad. I felt
Wow.
bad.
If you have the one that shoots the micro darts, and then you get like the ball headed needles with the yellow ball on there, whatever color, that ball fits perfectly in there. So you have to drop it in really straight. Then you can pull, and you'll get about 1.5 inches of ultra sharp needle sticking out the end of your micro dart. And
Ouch.
it is wildly painful, but super fun. You can't really deny when you've been hit when it's sticking out of your body.
When you're bleeding, when there's a trail of
It's
blood coming out of your shirt.
It's acupuncture.
do you-
Come on.
It's
Do you
aggressive
dip it?
acupuncture.
Do you dip it on like a rainforest frog before you shoot him?
Yeah, I dip it in things, but it's not rainforest frogs. Yeah, it's
You're
non.
gonna get hepatitis and pink
I
eye.
would say, yeah, more or less. It's non-consensual acupuncture, so I like to call it. Yeah, reluctant. That was about it.
Goodness.
What about you, Phil? Anything recent off-road?
Kind of. I just sent you a picture. I don't know if you got it soon enough, but I picked up a little Coleman mini bike about a week ago, and spent the weekend. Well, not the weekend, but I went outside to the garage for like an hour playing with it. I've got a little bag for the handlebars, and I got my little 1-liter tank. There it is. Yeah, I got my little
Speaking
1-liter
of
tank
blown
of
out
spare
tail
fuel,
bones,
and it'll be great. I'm gonna drive it around at King of the Hammers if I need to putt around. I'm gonna fab a little like a race fuel jug carrier for the back of it. I can carry like differentials and stuff if I need to.
as a guy who's
run around the
not been to
pits.
King of Hammers yet, like if you wanted to jump on this and drive across Hammertown, like I feel like from what I've heard, that's not a fast or big enough vehicle. Like you'll run out of gas, like doing that. Like
Oh, I mean, no, not in that, but it's a pretty big place. You're basically going across, Death Valley, so it's like it's just a dried, lake bed, and it fills up with like 80,000 people. The town itself, where it's like an established, where they have street names and stuff, and the vendors are there. That's a really small area compared to everything else that's available to drive through. And you won't drive that through the town during Hammers. It'll be closed off unless you have a pit pass or one of those special race racer badges or bracelets. But yeah, that was
Those are
perfect for getting
fun.
around the pits though.
I bought one like 4 or 5 years ago, and for Father's Day at my house, we always did a Father's Day mini bike race. We've got a dirt bike track at my place, and so we do a Father's
Oh,
Day
sweet.
mini bike race on the dirt bike track. I always came in last because mine was super slow, but it was a lot of fun having that seat just slam against my tailbone on some of the jumps, and It's a
I've been
good
deep
time.
diving into like how to make it faster and modifications. You can go wild on these things, I guess.
Yeah, there's websites dedicated to that and removing the governor and things.
Yep.
Yeah.
Remove the governor, CVT, get rid of the clutch, like the centrifugal clutch. It's cool.
Yeah.
But other than the Northern Lights and that, spent time with the family.
Nice.
I guess we all
That's important.
none of us mentioned Mother's Day stuff, but yeah, it was.
Oh yeah,
We had.
I love
Yeah,
my
I
wife
bought-
very much.
Like
She's
twice.
not my mom. I hope she's not listening.
She's the mom of our. She's our favorite mom.
Yeah. I bought my mom a cake. I bought half of a cake for my mom. My sister paid for the other half.
Any response I have right now is not appropriate for the air. Let's not forget 605 spotter. We haven't got a phone call in a minute here, guys. Like my spam guy keeps calling. I'm about ready to call and record, be like, hello. I'm trying to call you about your vehicles. Just give them a spam call back, see how they respond. See what happens, maybe record it, play it on air. But guys, hit us up, 605 spotter. Topics you want to hear about, whatever it be. You want to yell
We
at
should come up with a question every week for people to call in about. Like this week, call in about the right PSI you should run for gravel roads. Like, should you just leave full air, 0 air, 10 PSI in case you come across some serious crawling on your Forest Service road? Call and let us know.
I like it.
There it is. We also want to thank our sponsor, Patriot Patch. Head over to patriotpatch.co and check out their selection of great patches, shirts, cleaning mats, signs, and stickers. You can also join the Patch of the Month Club for $15 and receive a patch, matching sticker, and artist proof each month. I just saw the Forbidden Popsicle patch. Don't lick the
tire trouble.
Oh, sorry.
I just said, don't lick the Forbidden Popsicle. Montana Dirt Road says, what's the area code for that phone number? 605 is Central South Dakota, which I don't know if South Dakota has more than one area code. I don't know if they have enough people to have more than one area code, but Central South Dakota.
605 SPOTTER. 605 is the area code.
Yep.
Have tire troubles ever left you deflated? Colby Valve has got you covered. Ever have a valve stem leak? Colby Valve makes reusable and easily replaceable valve stems that don't require you to remove your tire from the wheel. They work with your off-road rig, ATV, side-by-side, commuter vehicle, or even your tractor. Never be left stranded again because of a busted valve stem. They also have a tire repair kit for those punctures that keep you away from doing your favorite thing, wheeling. Make sure to check out colbyvalve.com or ask for them at your local off-road products store.
Phil, have you ever used a Colby valve or been around them?
No, I've sold a few to, some buddies and some other folks that wanted them, but I've never had to use one. Have you guys?
I've never had to use one, but I've got permanents, and then I've slashed a few people's tires and put one in. Like I slashed their valve stem. I did it to my mom
Did
once.
they know about that?
Well, yeah, my mom knew because I walked
That
over.
must have been a Mother's Day present.
No, it wasn't. She was just like,
Happy Mother's Day /
no, I can't remember exactly how it went, but she asked me about them. I'm like, oh, here's how they work. And I just walked over and I slashed her valve stem off with my knife and shoved one in and pumped up her tire. I'm like, it works just like that. And she's like, oh, thank you, son. And can you do the rest now? And so I got her perma valves for her YJ.
I always hope to come across a vehicle that has them, and then I can just take it out, take it with me. It would just be funny. Clearly, they have some.
You just
so I can put it
take
back
their
there.
Colby
Come
valve.
out there, just that valve stem's gone. I
That
did
would be
use
amazing.
one. I used one on some drunk guy's vehicle up in the woods one time that he had done a bunch of damage to. and I wanted to get this
Yeah.
drunk guy back on the road. So
Get him back on the road.
Oh, thanks, Coy.
in hindsight, might not have been my finest hour.
All right. Well, our first news story comes to us from CarBuzz, and it is that Hennessy makes an off-road package for the Toyota Tundra TRD Pro. So it's got to be the TRD Pro, I'm pretty sure, for you to get this package. It starts off by saying that Hennessy is about as American as a tuner can get, offering insane performance upgrades for sports cars and trucks from the big three. Not to mention, it also has expanded into the world of bespoke hypercar development. Remember that word, listeners, bespoke. The package starts up front with a bespoke off-road steel bumper with integrated lighting and continues in the rear with a similar steel setup.
Do you think they get that bespoke off-road bumper from Fab Fours?
Yes.
Like, it's
That's-
like
You think
That's
4
what that
pounds
logo
of metal
looks like.
being a grumper.
Yeah, that does look like a Fabs 4 bumper.
does it? I don't think it's that fabulous. I think it's a good looking bumper. I don't feel like it's over the top.
Fab Fours does some nice bumpers that are not crazy grumpers.
Okay.
They do. They do some like not crazy stupid
They-
bumpers.
They usually look crazy, or they look like Bruce Campbell's chin. But
No, they're
All right.
totally-
Well, Nick says Fab 4 or Road Armor. Road Armor, I think, is probably the worst. Besides someone who makes one themselves and has never welded before in their life, Road Armor is just above them. Do you sell Road Armor, Phil? Sorry, I should have asked before I made that comment.
No, I don't. I mean, if someone really wants it, I'll sell it to them, but I'll do everything
Yeah.
I can to talk him out of it. Same with Fab
Good.
Fours.
So they call that that off-road bumper. They call it bespoke, and I don't know what's so bespoke about it. That word is the wrong adjective for this sentence. So, anyways, so the truck comes with front and rear steel bumpers that has some integrated lighting. And then it says, thanks to a leveling kit and 2-inch lift, the truck is better optimized to handle the new black 20-inch off-road B-lock wheels wrapped in massive 35-inch tires. I feel like CarBuzz, whoever wrote this article for CarBuzz, hasn't been around the off-road world that much if they're calling 35-inch tires massive.
maybe they were in the off-road world in like 1989, then got out of it, and those
That could
were
be.
pretty big. Like then 1989, 35 was a big tire.
Do you think that these are actually beadlocks?
It says beadlocks. I don't think they
It
could
says
call them beadlocks if they weren't real beadlocks.
That's where somebody from CarBuzz might be wrong.
I'm going to say
I don't
they're
know.
beadlock simulated because Hennessy is
Yeah.
selling street legal packages is kind of their thing. So I'm going to say nah. Or else it's like the Raptor where it's technically a beadlock, but you have to take the tire and put it in the beadlock yourself. Like it doesn't actually come locked in the
Yeah,
bead.
like beadlock capable. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can see that.
All right, so here's the Fab 4 hybrid bumper on a 4Runner. Here's a Jeep one. Here is the Tacoma one.
That looks like an infab one to me, but
But
you
look,
didn't pop up the Tundra one though.
Tundra, Tacoma, Tundra,
That's Hennessy.
yeah,
Bumper.
or Hennessy, Fab 4s.
It would be better if we compared this to the Fab Fours on a Tundra though.
Well, I'm just saying it looks like I'm gonna find the Tundra one.
Yeah.
Well, there's also no
Montana
winch
Dirt
mount in
Road
that
say,
Hennessy one.
what was that, Phil?
I was just saying it looks like there's no winch mount in the Hennessy one.
Didn't see one either. Montana Dirt Road says that that's factory equipment on most full-size trucks nowadays, the 35-inch tires. I couldn't agree more. So most full-size trucks nowadays have massive tires. It does say, though, that there is a spec sheet that mentions 37-inch tires, so perhaps there are multiple options. The company says the fold-out electronic steps have been re-engineered to man, I'm really struggling with my words again. Re-engineered to better handle the rigors of trail life.
Bro.
Dude.
Did I call that? Did I call that? Worship me, everyone. Worship me.
It's like copy, paste, shrink.
I guarantee is there a difference even?
Those are the exact same bumper.
That's a Fab Force bumper. Okay.
My
Hennessy is running Fab 4.
My genius sometimes almost leaves me speechless.
Wow. Good call, Coy.
You don't have to tell me. I was there.
I didn't know that I didn't know that you were that intimate with Fab 4's bumper lineup that
I honestly
that you could just call them out when you see them.
I
saw the logo.
Kind of a Rainbow Child vibe where I was like, that looks so Fab Force. Like I didn't actually think it was. I thought it would be really similar to a Fab Force.
As soon as Coy said that, and I looked at the center of the bumper where that logo is, I'm like, that does look like the Fab Fours logo.
Hennessy is really disappointing me right now.
So really,
Hennessy
will put
Hennessy
someone else's tuner, or is Hennessy the alcohol is doing this?
Maybe one beget the other.
All right. It says signature exterior decals have also been added, including a massive logo on top of the windshield and logos on the bed of the truck, along with badging on the front fenders. The interior has also been upgraded with Hennessy embroidered headrests, but that appears to be the only thing changed on the inside. Unlike many of the company's projects, this one doesn't include any more power, just a high flow induction system that shouldn't change much except add a throatier sound. The package comes with a 3-year, 36,000-mile limited warranty for some peace of mind, but the company hasn't unveiled how much it will cost. They guess that it'll come in between $10,000 and $20,000 on top of the truck's base price of $72,130. So
wow.
I went to Hennessy's website because I was just curious if they were claiming it was theirs. They just say that they added an off-road front and rear bumper.
Sure.
So not bespoke.
$20,000.
Even's claiming you added an off-road bumper. Like, if your friend had a Jeep and he's like, dude, I got this sweet off-road bumper, and then he had a Fab Force bumper, you'd be like, playing pretty loose with that word off-road. Like,
well, there's not even recovery points or a winch mount or a winch.
Some dude at Fab Force was about to reach out with a sponsorship right now, and he's like, oh,
yeah.
All right, he should, because money will make me be like, man, these Fab 4 bumpers, way underrated. I'll do that 2 weeks from now. But.
Yeah. So they don't have a price. They assume it's $10,000 to $20,000. You get a bumper front and rear, re-engineered rock slider steps, wheels and tires, stickers, badges, and embroidered headrests. Oh, and a intake.
And a leveling kit.
Yeah. I wasn't going to mention that, Ben. But yeah, you're correct.
I love Alex's comment.
You see that comment?
They're not really that massive. Their wives are just telling them, whoa, honey, your 35s are massive. Biggest tires I've ever seen. Way bigger than my exes.
That's fabulous. Thank you, Alex.
I appreciate that comment.
Yeah, I bet you do.
I do. I have huge 35s on my truck. All right, guys. This is a pretty long article, and it's a little wordy, so I'm just going to try and blast through it here.
Just skip around. Yeah. And if it makes you upset, don't read part of it.
So, Carbuzz, Tesla Cybertruck finally got the off-road update. Tesla is rolling out with a new off-road mode for the Cybertruck aimed at improving its abilities. Lead engineer Wes Morrill has detailed the update via X. which I'd like to reach out to you, Wes, and maybe like next time when you release the vehicle, also release the features that it comes with. But you could do it later, I guess. Now, giving us an in-depth look at
the. I gotta pause. Ben, number one, I'm thankful that you pulled these pictures up. I'm gonna call into the 605 spotter hotline right now to talk about what PSI to put your tires at when you're on gravel road if you're in overland mode. It is not 50 PSI, which is what they are showing on the dash of this Cybertruck.
Well, maybe we should change it and they can call in to 605 spotter and let us know how they've had their tailbone blasted out. If it was like with their Subaru friends or how it's happened.
Blasted.
I want to hear some tailbone blasting stories.
Yeah, some tailbone blasting ASMR.
Is the Cybertruck so heavy that it needs the 50 PSI? Like it might debead under 50?
I mean, does it have automatic tire inflation, or does it just that's what it is on the highway?
That's probably highway tire pressure. I'll look it up while you continue.
Yeah.
Let's start with the two off-road modes, Overland and Baja. The former delivers superior stability, handling, and traction when driving on gravel, snow, sand, or rocky terrain. In Baja mode, the stability assist system is set to minimal, which allows the vehicle to handle with greater ease. While the vehicle's balance is also improved, the Baja mode is like the Cybertruck's equivalent of track mode. There's even a handling balance slider that lets the driver choose their preferred setup. This ranges from standard, to where both the traction control and stability assist the driver, to minimum, which puts the driver in total control with minimal interference from driver aids.
That's not total. That's partial.
I really hope that it truly does take away all stability. So you can just put it in Baja mode and just start like full on drifting on pavement. Like really do just crazy routes and stuff. That would be amazing.
Recommended normal tire PSI for a Tesla truck is 50 PSI on their 20-inch all-terrain and all-season tires.
Are they 35s? Are they the massive 35s that Hennessy sells?
I'm sure they're an ultra expensive EV off-road tire.
They are a very unique tire. We talked about those before.
Sure, they're super unique. Mostly unique is the price, I'm sure. There's also a terrain slider that adjusts the ride height and the suspension tuning for different surfaces. Morrill says rugged is the optimal setting for Baja driving, as it uses specific dampening tune and a high ride height to deal with bumps and high-speed maneuvers. The other settings include clearance, which uses the highest ride height, setting the driver over obstacles, and smooth, which pairs a medium ride height with a dampening setting that minimizes pitch and roll. Off-road mode also benefits from a trail assist feature that combines hill descent control and ascent speed control to make it easier to maintain a set speed on off-road courses. The driver can set a speed, and the combined systems maintain that desired speed regardless of terrain or gradient, allowing the driver to get on with the important task of avoiding obstacles. Just imagine if there was some way you could control the speed, like you could use your hands to avoid the obstacle, but then use like your foot, let's say, to like set the speed of the vehicle. Would really work good, I bet. Where was I here? Regardless of terrain or gradient. Using the brake or accelerator doesn't disengage trail assist with the vehicle returning to set speed. That seems like an odd feature, but one of the most important additions is the front and rear locking differentials, something Tesla has promised since January. This should make the Cybertruck even more competitive. I think they should use capable, not competitive there. I don't think it's going to be competing anytime soon. There's also a vitals page that displays important information such as battery, electric motor temperature, tire pressures, and real-time pitch and roll. You think it also says how much moisture is in the electronics?
How much water's pooling by the batteries?
Yeah. When you go through, the headlights start flickering and stuff. Elsewhere, the camera views are constantly displayed, and the front camera and side mirror-mounted cameras being default views. Of course, drivers can swipe to see different camera angles, which means there's less chance of damaging the Cybertruck on a hidden obstacle or getting stuck. The rear wheel steering can also be disabled. What was that, Ben?
I was gonna say I thought it was bulletproof, so shouldn't it be like rock proof?
Possible. I know if any of you guys get a Cybertruck that has 9,000 cameras on it, you are going to see just below my tailbone at some point when you're parked and you look at those cameras. If you know what I mean. Of course, drivers can swipe to see different cam angles, which means there's less chance of damaging the Cybertruck on hidden obstacles or getting stuck. The rear wheel steering can also be disabled. With Morrill noting, this comes handy when the vehicle is in overland mode. I found less reasons to turn it off than I expected, but in overland, there are some cases when block crawling or driving off-camber on loose surfaces. Even the tint mode has received a massive improvement. If you find tint mode also sounds like one of those code words I was talking about earlier.
It's that's a Subaru thing. Tent
Yeah,
mode.
like, do they have a tent mode? If you find your camping spot on the uneven surface, the air suspension levels the vehicle to provide a restful night's sleep. I would think tent mode wouldn't be as restful, but the front light bar, tail lights, and bed lights can all be. Yeah,
This picture, it looks bespoke, first of all, but
It
looks
is
like
very
what
bespoke.
really rich people imagine overland
Camping.
looks like.
Yes. I couldn't agree more.
What is overlanding? Let's see. This is it. This is it right here.
This is overlanding. It's interesting because they've got a fire going, but then they've got 3 candles that are lit on a rock in the middle of the day. And then next to that, they've got like another fire pit grill thing.
And it looks like they're in the future overlanding on a planet that's owned by some corporation. It's like a vacation planet. And they've paid to go there. And obviously, this thriller, there's going to be some bad stuff that goes down. They're going to realize. This planet is
it's obviously rendered too.
It'll be a lot of blood.
They totally photoshopped
Or
that.
Jason Bourne's going to run around the corner, like running from cops or something.
Yeah, Jason Statham's definitely going to kill an
Jason
alien.
Statham, yeah.
Maybe Statham jumps into the Cybertruck and does a new driver movie with it.
Get stuck at a parkade for 47 minutes. The front light bar, tail light, and bed lights can all be operated individually as ambient lights. Oh, that makes sense for tent mode, though. Have the ambient light. External speakers means you can also play music, creating a home away from home. The air conditioning outlets can also be used if enabled. Ooh, that actually, I mean, I've been camping where if I had an option to air condition my tent, I would. It would be interesting to see how Tesla's first ever pickup truck measures up to the Rivian RT1 and the F-150 Lightning after this update, as the off-road performance of pre-production Cybertrucks were disappointing. With the new update, we suspect that is no longer the case.
See how
I'm looking at the picture.
Aztec.
Picture differences in the tent here. It says how it started and how it's going. So this article is about the Tesla's Cyber tent. But this picture, the rendered picture, you can clearly see that it's supposed to be pulled out and whatever. So maybe they're using it inappropriately in this picture. I don't know. They aren't using it the right way. Huh. Well, that's great news for you Cybertruck owners. I don't know. I don't remember, Coy. Did you say that it like cost money for an update to get this on there, or does it just come standard?
I believe it just comes standard. It comes out, the update rolls out to like the first owners or whatever first, and then depending on what tier of owner you get, you got to wait longer. Because you know how it is. You can only download it. Like, I like how they do it like games. Like, well, you paid for yours first, so we'll let you download it first. Like, it's just a file. Like anyone can own.
The tent was installed the whole time. You just couldn't unlock it until you paid for the upgrade.
I can't wait
to level 6.
Can't wait till you can pay to download new skins for the Cybertruck.
Oh yeah. New window tint modes.
Yeah.
Oh, you're a Subaru driver? We got something special for you.
Yeah. Tint mode.
Aaron's got something special for the Subaru drivers.
All right. On that
Should we
note,
move to the main topic?
yeah, let's just slide on over to the main topic.
All right, Phil, let's start this off with the fast 5 facts. New or old vehicle for you?
Old. I'm gonna go with the old. It's always nicer to work on something you can work on without a computer and get hands on with.
Don't have to worry about those curtain airbags deploying if you don't have them, right?
It's true.
Those oh, there we go. Those curtain airbags.
Yeah. Summer or winter camping?
I'm gonna say winter. Summer, you can I can only take off so many layers until it's indecent. Definitely winter camping.
Rock, sand, snow, or mud?
Ooh, I think rocks.
Favorite vehicle brand?
Toyota.
Favorite tire?
Ooh, right now I'm like split. I really like the Cooper ST Maxes, or the STT Pro Max, with the mud terrain version. But I just came from having the Pro Comp KM2s, or the Pro Comp Extreme, was it XT2s? They were really awesome. And if I were to buy a brand new set of tires again, when I had those in 35s, I always said I'd buy another set of them. But I came into a set of these Coopers, and I really like them too. So, not so fast answer.
A huge set of 35s. Massive.
A huge, massive 35s.
Massive. All right. Do you have any recommendations for someone that's new to off-roading?
Yeah, just go out and run what you brung. Don't go alone. But I think a lot of people get caught up with like, hey, what should I do first before I go out? And I think get some safety gear, grab some buddies, find a group of people that have already been there, maybe if you can, and just go out. It's one thing to buy a bunch of stuff and figure out how to use it. When you're up on the mountain, that's kind of a cool experience. But go out and figure out what you need before you buy a bunch of stuff. And if you find that you have a need when you get to the trail or the road, write a list down, or make a mental note and come back and stop by Off-Road Toy Outfitters and we'll get you set up.
All right, let's talk about you, Phil. How did you get started off-roading?
Like when I was a kid, I think probably that's how I really got my start. Our dad would always take us up in the woods, going like, wood wood cutting and snow wheeling and stuff. And he always had this funny phrase. It was like he made us chant it, or he made us learn it, and we ended up chanting it all the time. He's like, "You can do it, you can do it. Put a little power to it," and that was really fun. As a kid, you're sitting in the bench seat in the front. We had a 3-door Suburban, and he was on massive 33-inch tires, and that was where I learned you're never stuck until you have to walk home, and we got stuck.
Those are
We were up,
when you say massive 33s, when you talk about a 3-door Suburban, those were probably massive at their time.
Oh, they felt, in the moment. I remember them being just monster tires, but I'm pretty sure they were 33s.
Yeah.
But yeah, I grew up in Eastern Oregon, and we'd go up like Rock Creek Mountain, or Rock Creek area, and yeah, it was like right up from our house, and we ended up walking home one night, and that was where we learned, my brother and I, that you're never really stuck until you have to walk home. And that's what I tell people now. It's like, well, don't give up until you actually have to walk home. That's when you know you actually got stuck. So, yeah, probably my whole life.
What's the first vehicle that you got to take off-road?
What's that? A 1979 two-door, two-wheel drive like 3-speed Datsun pickup. Had
Yes.
the weird curvy side doors on it, long bed, and took that out in the places it should not have gone. And I'm pretty sure that's how the U-joint yoke broke on it. But
I can
yeah.
hear the sound of the rear axle hitting the bump stops while you're wheeling that. Like I've got been there before. Like they make
Oh
such
yeah.
a cool noise when you pop hoo with those old two-wheel drive Japanese cars or trucks.
What year
Yeah.
was it?
Super cool. It's like a 79,
79.
carbureted. Yeah, it was sitting out in like someone else in the town of like 300 people where I grew up. It was at his parents' like field, and I don't know how long it'd been sitting there. He's like, "Hey, if you can get this running, like you can have it. We don't want it anymore." And so like yep, but the long bed version, and it was 3 colors too. The hood was like blue, the fender was white, or maybe the other way around. I can't really remember. It was like my junior or senior year of high school we found it. But yeah, it was pretty awesome.
Do you have a current favorite rig that you like to hit the trail in?
When I have 4-wheel drive, oh, there we go. I'm backwards again. My '08 4Runner. It's easy. It's an automatic. I've really, I don't know. I used to be a gung ho like, oh, all manual everything. But man, the automatic in 4 low, it's friggin' sweet. No clutch to worry about. Nothing to burn up. Just take it nice and easy. As long as you got a rear locker, that is.
Leroy, you're
Lu-
currently looking to buy a '79 Datsun with the Harlequin
No,
paint scheme, or
no, I think he wants a 4Runner.
He obviously wants a Forerunner. Yeah, I've got one right
Yeah.
here. I can give you a hell of a deal. It's definitely been babied.
baby boo.
Only highway miles.
It's for where he lives though. There's no rust. Like that thing's a gem. So, what is your most embarrassing moment on the trail?
So, well, my most recent, most embarrassing moment on the trail is probably when I was at King of the Hammers my first year with this 4Runner. It was actually a long time ago. I'm surprised how long ago it was. But anyway, like 3 or 4 years ago, King of the Hammers, I basically just drove down from like Bend, Oregon area straight down to King of the Hammers, and I unload like the gas cans in the back, and I unload my bags and the tent and stuff out of it. And within like the first 35 minutes or so, my buddies were like, "Yeah, we're all gonna go up and just go on a drive. Like it'll be super easy. Come on, join us." Oh, sweet, no big deal. Let's do it. Well, that was Turkey Claw, and that was before they ran Turkey Claw as part of King of the Hammers. So, I didn't know what it was. They thought it would probably be fine, and they also thought I had a rear locker, which I didn't, and ran through like half of it. And there's like 50 people like standing on the side of this goalie, Turkey Claw, looking at all of us coming up, and then here's me in this mall crawler looking minivan, just driving up behind them like it's nothing. And I got like halfway up and uh, blew the ring and pinion in the rear, and that was really embarrassing. That was definitely, I backed out of where I was at, had to turn around and try to fix it. Ah, you found it. Yeah, that was fun. So pulled that out that night on the lake bed, and it was a pretty epic story. I think Yukon, of all the people that were out on the lake bed, Yukon stepped up and like they next day aired gears and setup kit, and they upgraded me to the solid spacer and set up the gears on the back of their 4Runner. Man, whoever's doing these pictures did their research because I didn't prep you with any of this. That's awesome. Thanks, Ben. But yeah, he set it up. He set up the gears on the back of his 4Runner at the Yukon pit, and the next day I drove home 1,000 miles, breaking in the gears, and then my wheel bearing went out on the way home that same trip. So I definitely learned a lot about like mission prep or like trip prep. Think of everything you don't think about, and I got made fun of a lot by my buddies, but it was a really good time. Yeah, there it is.
You can
Yeah.
see the lean if you look at
I got a
how
little.
it's cambered in. Yeah.
Yeah, I got that camber action. So
It's cambering the wrong way though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is definitely a big adjustable hammer right there.
I have a crescent wrench that exact size that was a former employer's of mine, and then when we got laid off, I'd grown sentimentally attached to it, and we named it the Master Key because it opened whatever you needed, you know.
that's awesome. That crescent is actually super cool because they
It's
drilled
custom.
the ends of it. Yeah, they drilled the ends of
Mhm.
it if you look really close, and they put in the pins that you need, so you can adjust the width of those pins, but it's perfectly set up to adjust those threaded. I think they're like the preset. What do you call it? The backlash screws on the third members.
Yeah, that's
But
really
yeah,
clever.
yeah, it's a cool setup.
It's almost like they've done it before or something, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, he did it all by feel. He didn't use a micrometer or anything. He just used that, the wrench on it and went back and forth and was like, "Yeah, it looks good." And I drove home 1,000 miles, no issues. So Yukon for the win on that one.
I almost like that better. It's like setting carburetors by ear and stuff. It's like, yeah, it's better that way.
Super
Well-
guys do that.
That's why they go through so many head gaskets. All right. Well, let's start off with talking about the race here. Mountain at the Mayhem 4-wheel drive series put on by Core Power Sports.
Yeah.
Your dyslexia, Ben. He said mountain.
Mayhem
You
at
said
the
mountain at the.
Wow.
You said
Yeah.
mountain at the Mayhem.
Dang. That dyslexia is hardcore right now.
Should Ben actually now that I'm thinking about this, should we actually talk about OTO real quick before we jump into the Mountain
yeah,
Mayhem?
Let's do that. Let's
Guys?
talk about OTO first, and then we'll talk about that. So yeah,
All right. So OTO, Off-Road Toy Outfitters. What got you working on doing that and then creating your own company to do that?
Yeah. So the house that we're in right now, when we were shopping around for houses, one of my requirements was like I wanted like a shop space because I'd already been working on cars for a long time, just excuse me, for myself as a hobby. And I was like, well, I got to be able to fit either a 4-post lift in wherever we find, or I want to, find a house with some property we can put a shop on it. And we ended up in a cul-de-sac because my wife fell in love with the house, and as soon as we were looking at the house, like some of the neighbor kids came out and they're the same age as our kids, so it just worked out really great. And me, I went right to the garage and I was checking everything out to make sure it was up to, my requirements, and it was like my dream garage basically. It's a big three car, like 3-bay, 4-car garage. One of the bays is like extended extra deep, but the ceilings are like, I think they're like 12 feet tall, and it was like my dream perfect spot for it. And I was like, okay, cool. I got buy a 4-post lift once we move in and just start hanging out. Oh man, Ben, it's the research again. So I bought the 4-post lift and started putting it in, and instantly made like a ton of new friends, like just people coming over and
Yeah, of
hanging
course you
out.
did.
Like, hey, oh, you just happen to have a lift. I just thought you were a cool guy.
Have you bought a car trailer yet?
No,
You get a
not yet.
bunch more
Oh
friends.
yeah,
So
you sure do when
uh,
you get a car trailer.
yeah. Well, so it was like 3 weeks right after the lift was set up, of like nights and weekends after work, and just me. I'd go inside, say hi to the family, go out there, and there'd already be like a buddy waiting, or I'd have a project, arranged and like scheduled in my mind to just start working on something. And after a few weeks of that, my wife was like, "Hey, like, I miss you. The kids miss you. Like, let's go make some memories somewhere. Like, let's take a weekend off of doing this stuff, and let's go have some fun with the family." And I was like, "Yeah, well, we can't really afford to right now, but that's a great idea. I'd love to." And she's like, "Well, you need to start charging these people that are coming in every night, after you get off work and all weekend." And I'm like, I think there might be something there. So I attribute the whole business idea to my wife, and she's been really awesome supporting that. So I basically just started doing it on the side while I was working days at outside sales with a company, and came home and I'd have customers scheduled, just you know, just hanging out and working with them on stuff. And I did that for like two years, almost exactly 2 years. And finally moved out of my house. Just it got so busy, and the constraint of like not being able to actually like stand up under a vehicle to work on it. I was actually like hunkered down like a little like a dwarf working under a car, just because the ceiling was only so high and the car wouldn't just you couldn't lift it all the way up in my garage. So finally found a spot out in Vancouver, and I've been leasing that space out since November now. But yeah, my whole
So
goal was just
question,
to what's
what
that?
what made you pick a 4-post lift rather than a 2? Just of my own personal.
My garage is at like a slant. So 2-post lifts, you can only have like a certain amount of degrees of shims under the posts to like actually be able to have a 2-post and have it be safe. So, but with a 4-post, you can stack up like I've got like I don't know. Well, I had like when I was here, I had like 6 or 7 layers of like um, forklift rated carpet tiles under each of the lower posts to make up for that height difference. And that was
Huh.
the only way I could get a lift in my garage.
Wh-
Plus, like I didn't know like how thick the concrete was. I didn't want to cut the concrete up and like re-pour like a big 4x4 slab, and I didn't even know what like the PSI rating of the concrete was at the time. So
So
I just
your
wanted a no
garage
drill, no
floor had
anchor.
like more than like the 2% grade for.
Oh yeah, super steep on
Oh,
that. Well, it was in that third bay, that extended bay that I wanted to put it, where the picture
that's
was.
crazy.
But yeah, yeah, I think I've got pictures of like how thick the carpet tile had to be to like support that bottom or the lower end of it.
Huh.
But yeah,
And-
so I chose a 4-post, which by Ben Pack's recommendation doesn't require any anchors technically, just has to be on a non-slip surface, and it worked out great.
Well, that makes sense. Is there
And
anything that you specialize in at OTO?
uh, all just off-road aftermarket. The specialty of everything I do has
Road
been
armor
Toyota
bumpers.
4x4. Yeah, road armor bumpers and massive 35-inch tires.
Massive 35s on
So
black
massive,
Bull
simulated B locks.
20-inch
Bolton
wheels.
black massive 35s.
Specialty has been in Toyota 4x4s, everything aftermarket, accessory wise, from, bolt-on, bumpers, winches, lift kits to like custom fabricated 3-link conversions on. Ben, if you're quick on this one, you'll get the picture of the green Tacoma. I did a custom 3-link on. Well, I say custom because I had to customize it. It was a kit from Four Wheel Underground, and we did 14-inch coilovers, and we converted a leaf sprung 1-ton Tacoma to 3-link. It's pretty sweet.
Have you done a Northwest Fab doubler yet on a Toyota?
No, no, I'm talking to them though. They've got some really slick stuff. They got the Trident shifter. They're making things really, really easy.
I want that setup so bad.
Yeah, it's as expensive as it is pretty.
Their VF, their doubler for the VF transfer case is like awesome.
Yeah, that one's only like I think like 6 inches or 6.5 inches, right? It only adds
Yeah,
because
I
it's
had 6
planetary.
inches. Yeah, that's a planetary.
Yeah,
Where did you have those
sweet
pictures,
setup.
Phil?
Oh, it's on my Instagram.
Oh, I'm going through Facebook to steal pictures.
Oh, my bad.
It's all good.
All right, so
Just imagine the biggest tires you could. Massive 35.
all right. So you sent out an invite. You also talked to me ahead of time about Mayhem at the Mountain, put on by Core Power Sports. And last minute, I want to say the day before race 1, April 12th, I was like, okay, I'm going. And I text you at like 9 o'clock at night. Hey, I'm going. What do I need to bring or anything or need to know?
Yeah.
Got a quick text back a couple hours later. and I woke up at 6 o'clock in the morning. I think it was 6 o'clock in the morning. I was running late because I think it was leave at 3 o'clock in the morning to get there at Tech, and I got there way after that. Just as the first race was getting ready to get started, and I was told, or I pull in, and you're like, "Hey, go over here," and I parked my 4Runner. Great spot for a picture, by the way. It stayed there for about all of 15 minutes, and I got to sit at the finish line to grab pictures. It was really cool. That's kind of my view of where I was at. Kind of got to see the whole track, minus one spot that was blocked by a hill within the track, but it was more than enough view to go through and get some really good shots and enjoy the races. And I gotta say, I had fun. This is the first. I imagine you've got some changes coming up to the track, because you had there was some what was it, logs that broke, or log that broke.
Yeah.
And it seemed like there's a couple tight corners, though that might be by purpose. And I'll let you get into that. But it was a fun day. I enjoyed myself. I wish I would have not. The Croc comment earlier, I left my boots at the house, so I hopped in my Crocs to drive and left my boots. So I'm running around in Crocs and socks, taking pictures on a gorgeous sunny.
Tourism mode.
Yeah, totally tourism mode. I did throw them in 4-wheel drive. And it was funny because where you see I'm parked now here in this picture, there was a couple times where a vehicle got stuck and it was like, "Hey, you're close. Do you think you can go recover them real quick?" And so I became media guy, taking pictures to off-road recovery guy too. And
Ben, hang on. This picture. How long ago was this?
April 12th.
I thought you put your rocker panel back on, man. Like,
No, still haven't put it back on. It's off.
okay. No, never mind. Continue on.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a couple times I got to go out, help recover some vehicles, meet drivers, shoot the breeze, talk shop. I had a good time, and it was really fun to watch. So that's kind of like my experience of it all. And you've gone, you've been to King of the Hammers, helping a friend out in the pits last 4 years. What did you learn at King of the Hammers that you kind of brought into the Mountain Mayhem race series?
I think the biggest thing that I've tried to bring to Automats, which is the Off-Road Toy Outfitters Mud and Trail series, but the biggest thing I've tried to bring into that is just keeping it really simple, easy to understand. If there's an opportunity to ask questions, clarifying questions, even, any gray area, it really muddles up the event, the experience. So, try to lay everything out ahead of time, make it really simple for the racers, make it really simple for the flaggers and the volunteers that are coming out, and just try to account for all that stuff ahead of time. You can't account for everything, but that was the biggest thing, was just getting the prep in to handle all that stuff ahead of time.
So, why don't you tell us what the Mountain Mayhem race series is and how Core Power Sports is involved?
Yeah, so Kevin Barber is the owner of Core Power Sports out here in Washougal. Core Power Sports is a local business, and they service everything for like side-by-sides, everything you could want to do, from stock to having it be a full-blown race car setup for a side-by-side. That they do all that. And then what Kevin did, which is really cool, is last year he started Mayhem at the Mountain. He started this race series that was exclusively for like side-by-sides, and it was at the same venue, same location, and he did the whole race series all summer. They put on an awesome event series, and at the end of it, I noticed that some of my friends who race KOH, some of the just people that I know of, I saw them comment on some of his posts saying, "Hey, like, there's nothing for 4x4s. You guys should add a 4x4 class to this race. We'd love to come out and race." And I thought that was super cool because there's nowhere, like, we don't have anywhere local, at least to Southwest Washington, where it's like affordable and safe that you can come out and race your 4x4. There's a lot of really cool races that are like, west of the Rockies. Like the Big Sky is a really big one. It's really cool. You can go out and race your 4x4s. Obviously, King of the Hammers, you can go out and race. I think Crandon, but there's just nothing here like in Southwest Washington locally for all the people that want to come out and race, or people that want to race eventually in the future. Maybe they're like aspiring to to race some of those bigger events, but they don't have anything local to go to kind of cut their teeth on. So that's where I stepped up and said, "Hey, Kevin, like, you did an awesome job on the your core power sports Mayhem at the Mountain for UTVs. Why don't we add like a 4x4 class to it?" And if my life wasn't busy enough already, I basically said, I'll be the director, I'll be the organizer for this race series, and now let's add these other classes to the same venue, and that basically kicked off from there. Kind of our working relationship and partnership in having a spot where 4x4 enthusiasts can come out and they can come race their vehicles.
Montana Dirt Roads asked, do the KOH guys race this event too?
Yeah, so I think Ben probably already has a video queued up, but we had a couple race car guys with some how would I put this? They like to call them they're unbanded 4500 class race cars. And they came out and they raced in the Ultra 4 class. These two are also on the same team that I go down and help out with every year at King of the Hammers, another 4500 class racer. But yeah, that's one of the classes that we have at Automats is the Ultra 4 class. So I'm looking forward to having a ton of local Ultra 4 class racers, as well as people who want to eventually race in the Ultra 4 series, come out and compete here.
What classes are there, and then what are like the distinctions between those classes?
Yeah, so if can you pull up that graphic one more time?
Yeah, the flyer.
Yeah. All right. So 4-bangers only. Anybody that has like a 4-banger engine, 4-cylinder engine, Leafs Party Harder. The requirement for that is just at least one of the axles or one of the axles front or rear has to be leaf sprung. The trail class is more for like street legal vehicles, like your 4Runner Ben, for example. That would be totally fine in the trail class. It's a street legal vehicle, but you typically go to like Brown's Camp or LB or something with it. You can come out and race in that class. UTV side by sides, I just made one class for those because we had some people asking about that. They wanted to bring their UTV out and they didn't want to compete against just the 4x4s, so we made their own class for those guys. The amateur and Ultra 4, that's the folks that the amateur is for the folks that want to race Ultra 4 eventually in the future. The Ultra 4 class is for people who have a vehicle that's either already passed tech and safety at Ultra 4, an Ultra 4 event, so maybe they're already banded, or they've got experience and they have a vehicle that passes, tech and safety for an Ultra 4 event. And then Unlimited is for like the big rock bouncer folks who want to come out and they've got, massive 54, 35-inch tires. They've got, just massive tires, just truly unlimited, no limitations on like vehicle size or tire size or anything.
How is the event scored?
Just whoever's fastest in the class. So there was a fastest of the day, like a grand prize, but it's just fastest in the class, and you're just competing against your fellow, class competitors. It's not wheel to wheel, so it's all time trial, except for the Ultra 4 class. The Ultra 4 class is the only class that gets wheel to wheel, as well as I added an event within the races of like a heads up or a grudge match, where you could challenge a buddy, and you guys under your own discretion can be wheel to wheel, side by side, racing against each other. And I think we'll see some of that when you get that clip queued up.
Lifted Xterra says, I know it's stated 4 bangers only, but if your 3.3 liter V6 has the same power as a 4-cylinder, does that count? That's a fun comment, but then I was thinking someone could show up with a 4th gen Tacoma that has that turbocharged 4-cylinder and have like 4 times the power and torque of a 22 RE.
Yeah. Then they should.
Ben,
They definitely should.
yeah.
And they have 4 leafs, or they still have leaves in the back too.
Rear leafs, yeah, they could compete in 2 classes.
Yep.
Is it just the Trail Hunter and stuff that has the coil sprung rear axle? I thought the new.
Oh, the 4th gen has they're linked in the rear, right?
I'm almost positive.
The Tacoma?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, they caught up to this century like Dodge and everybody else has done for the last 10 years.
I will have that. I'll probably play that video after the closing video, just for our audio listeners not to have vroom vroom noises. But I do have a vroom noise here before Aaron's question.
Double clutch and granny shifting, however that Fast and Furious quote goes.
So that was a guy named, or the car is called CJ Nuts. He came out all the way up from Idaho to race, and
Subaru guy probably.
He took
With a name like that.
He took home first, and I think he got it just under 2 minutes. But yeah, he took home first for the day for speed, and yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing who, if anybody, could be faster than him on the track. So
what was the second fastest time?
So his fastest time was like 154, 156, I think. The next fastest time was it was like 234, I think, by one of the Jeeps that came out. So like 30 seconds slower.
The side by sides don't run a faster time. I'm surprised.
But there's only
maybe they did. Hang on, I think I could do out this times here. I think he was fast for like 10 or 15 seconds. You're right.
I was thinking.
I forgot about the side by side. Yeah, he put down. So the side by side got 238. No, the 4x4, the Jeep Paul Herbig got 223. So 223 by Paul in his in his Jeep, and then Bobby in his UTV did 238. So
yeah, I've got a picture on here of CJ Nuts. The CJ, I want to say he's on 42s.
I think it's bigger than that. I think they're 44s.
44s, and they're and it's a turbocharged CJ. And if I remember correctly, I saw him dropping ice into the
yep,
into the tank.
Yeah, they brought out coolers of ice for his intercooler, I think.
On Unimog axles.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah,
2.5 tons.
There's a comment here. It says, I remember when Nissans beat side by sides. I don't know if you guys remember, I told that story last year where I raced some side by sides in my field and I beat them all with my V8 Titan in a drag race across my field.
Yeah. Did you beat them because they all limited out at 60 and then you passed them?
No, I stayed ahead of them. I stayed ahead of him the whole way, just a straight line drag on our field. So that may have been a couple years ago. It was shortly after we did the V8 swap.
Was that? Did you say which are they, like Honda Odysseys, 1989?
They were John Deere Gators.
even worse, the 5-wheeled Gator.
No, one of them for sure was a 1,000cc Razor. So,
Oh,
yeah.
that's crazy.
Yeah. Because I've never been to the King of the Hammers, and we're actually having them on next week. There's a little an early plug for that show. How is your event different than the King of the Hammers?
So the King of the Hammers is for sure, like no doubt, the most difficult one-day off-road race in the world. Like it's I think it's what 60, 80 miles, you know. It's a true mix of like desert racing, rock crawling, rock racing, stuff like that. This race track is on like 4 or 5 acres of space, and it's like almost a mile long. The way we run it is all time trial, so it's not wheel to wheel where King of the Hammers is. Um, but I still wanted to mix up, a little bit of every type of racing in the one, racetrack, race course. So you start out with, kind of a flat out drag, where you can kind of get, the desert racer type of people that want to go flat out in the beginning of the track. Um, that goes into the barrel racing, which is kind of tight and curvy, and you really depend on a lot more agility of the vehicle. And that after that barrel racing area, then you get into the log, this log mount you've got here, the mud and the rock crawl and stuff too. So you get a little bit of everything. It's no one vehicle that's built like purpose built for one specific task is going to be the best at everything. So that's why I think it's going to be a great challenge for everyone in the Northwest, because you've got some guys that have, like CJ Nuts would beat anyone in a flat out straight, section, but he's also got to be really good at, the rocks and the mud and the hill climb area, like the log crawl, in order to be good overall. So just so happens he also has like 3 times the power of all these guys.
The race Ben went to was the first in this series. Have you come up with any changes for your next race?
Yeah. So we're gonna well, I've been pushing it a lot more advertising wise, but also we're probably going to change the duration of it. Where this race was only during Saturday, we had all day Saturday to race all the classes, as well as we tried to fit in the Ultra 4 racing on the same day. And with the Mayhem and the Mountain, the Core Power Sports doing all their side by sides on the same day, it was too much racing for one day at this location at this track, because the Ultra 4 class is actually going to use the same track that the side by sides use for a good portion of the race, for the Ultra 4 class. They're going to take, so in the background of that picture you can kind of see like some of the flags way back there, and then I think I've got right here in my background. So this is, if I can show my background on my screen. So this is like there it is, my race course, the straight out section, and then all the squiggly lines over here. The other area way over here is just a corner section of what is the full, the full racetrack for the side by side area. So the Ultra 4 class at the next race, we're doing it over a few days, so that we'll have more time to split up everybody, and the Ultra 4 racers will actually get a chance to race on that flat track, as well as the flat track mixed with the rock crawl section.
Do you guys like have camping on site? People show up the night before and camp out and stuff like that?
So this picture in my background right now is actually taken from the camp out field, but I think it's like 10 acres or something of this grassy field that they mow down for us. Yep.
Nice.
So to the right there, that's probably only half or a third of the field that's available. And so far, we've only been able to fill up about half of it with the campers. So yeah, so that red line there, that's going to be the Ultra 4 route for their classes. They're gonna have a lot of twisty, curvy, flat track stuff mixed in with the rock uh, the rock obstacle challenge portion of it, and they'll go around it a few times for their
Hmm.
racing versus like all the other racers have just been a point A to B. This will actually be a lapped race. This next one coming up.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Was there any big challenges that you had, like volunteer wise? Like, is that something you were lacking that you need more of? That would
Oh
help.
yeah. Always. Yeah. I mean, you showed up and we put you to work immediately. So, yeah. I mean, I think we had 4 volunteers. We were able to do it with a skeleton crew, just one at a time, taking things nice and easy. We always want people to be safe, number one. So we had to essentially slow everything down to within that acceptable safety parameter. But if we get some more volunteers out there, they're 10, 15 people, we can definitely speed things up and get a lot more racers through a lot more quickly while maintaining that same level of safety.
Yeah.
So that's the goal.
The guy you had running safety and all that was out by the finish line, he was very big on making sure that everybody was safe. It was really kind of cool to sit there and see him like be like, nope, stop, nope.
Yeah.
There's someone too close, or these people, these spectators, because there were some people that were watching the side by side guys on the flat track that were like there was at one time one guy wandered onto the track looking through the track, and it's like, nope, no racing
Hmm.
right now.
Yeah. No, that was Justin. You're talking about Justin Lyons.
Yeah.
And he's a co-driver for the team that I go down to support down at King of the Hammers. And that's why I put him in that position, because I know, like, for him, he won't let anybody do anything that's unsafe, or won't let us proceed with any racing if he sees something unsafe. And so he did an awesome job there, and hopefully we can have him back again this next race.
Nice. Well, here, I'll put this back up. What, your next race is Memorial Day weekend?
Yeah, in 2 weeks, uh, Memorial Day weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then if you can come out Friday, there's an opportunity to not only pre-run some of the stuff out, on the course, but um, the Mayhem and the Mountain Core Power Sports is doing something super cool, family-wise. If you want to come out and bring your kids, they actually have the child-size version of the side-by-sides that will be available for use if you want to bring your kids out. So Friday from like 2 to 6 p.m., I think. If you can get out there with your family, it's something awesome that you can do with the whole family rather than just having the kids like sit around and like, oh, don't move, don't go anywhere. You can get them involved at a young age. I think it's really cool.
Can I drive the
That's
child ones and absolutely dominate that class?
You you will not be able to get out of it once you're in. But yeah, you go ahead and hop in one of those. I'd love to see that.
big man in a little car. Well, last question here for you, Phil. Where can our listeners find you, your shop, and more information about
Yeah. So I'm all over Facebook and Instagram. That's where I post the most. Like my most current stuff is Instagram. It's Offroad Toy Outfitters, all one word, no hyphens. If you want to check out my website, it's www.offroadtoyoutfitters.com. And my shop's in Vancouver. I'm about a minute from the I-5 bridge, so really, really close to, the PDX region, right next to Clark College and Fort Vancouver. And yeah, I'm your local military veteran-owned 4x4 shop, and I just love doing this stuff. My biggest goal is to have the most transparency between the shop and the consumer, and part of doing that is bringing the customers in to check everything out while we're working on it. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, then give me a call or shoot me a message, and we'll get you on the books.
Yeah, they can come to your shop, get your stuff worked on. They could go over to Fort Vancouver, get some history lessons, come back and pick up a completed rig.
Yeah,
That sounds cool.
yeah,
That
they can
sounds
do
like a
that,
great day.
or they can come in and get firsthand experience, seeing
Get
exactly
schooled
how it's
on how to
done.
do it.
Yeah, yeah, happy to have them in. I got nothing to hide, and I think that's the way. I think that's the way shops need to move in the future. Is just full transparency, bring customers in, answer any questions that they have, and in my mind, the more educated my customers are, the better customers are going to be for life. So that's what I try to do.
All right, guys. Next week we have a King of Hammers episode with Dave Cole. If you're not familiar with Dave Cole, he's basically the founder of King of Hammers. So let's be sure to tune in for that.
Of the
And we want to thank it. Yeah. King of the Hammers. Yep. I think everybody calls it King of Hammers because it's KOH. So you just say King of Hammers. Maybe it's like a slang to say King of Hammers. I don't know, but it is official King of the Hammers. So yeah. But we do want to thank everybody who listens to us weekly. We appreciate you guys. We love it when you watch us live. It's a lot of fun getting your comments. Make sure you're sharing us with your friends, helping us grow. God bless America.
Don't forget to visit Patriot Patch and join the Patch of the Month Club. Check out our Gaia affiliate link for up to 40% off. Also, don't forget to head over to Warren Colby Valve and 4 Patriots to see all of their great products. We are a proud part of the Firearms Radio Network. Got a question or comment? Send it to us through our Linktree account or by searching for Offroad Podcast. Also, you can listen to us live at overlandradio.com Mondays at 7 p.m. Pacific. When off-road, please remember to have fun, tread lightly, and be safe and courteous. Thanks for listening.
All right, now for our video watchers.
Scared him.
Got it his way. One hand got it in. Andy's off course. Come on, Paul! Get it, get it, get it!
I bet some of these guys can call in and give us a cell phone story. The 5 spotter line.
Hammered through.
I'm gonna be updating the next race to have all the media personnel with vests on. I didn't realize how weird running around there like that.
don't know for sure that I could beat these guys, but my FJ has massive 35-inch tires, which they clearly don't. So, saying I could give them a run for their money.
Come on out. Let's do it.
Hey, Coy, what was the question supposed to be for the line this week?
Well, originally I did say to call in and tell us what PSI to run on gravel roads, but I'd rather hear your hammered tailbone story. So Aaron told his live. If you want to call in and tell us about how you hammered your tailbone, hopefully off-road related, but doesn't have to be. 605 spotter, guys.
Or how Aaron hammered your tailbone.